Welcome back to the LARP News Podcast, sponsored by Wet Socks Incorporated. I am obviously Bungle. I'm here with the wonderful Millie.
Hello.
And we're here to conclude our chat over E1.
Oh yeah, and what a turn of events!
Oh,
we go into this episode as the weather changed.
Yeah, previously on LARP News, Millie was sick.
Yeah, Millie was very sick. Dave stood down from Herkinia. We're unemployed. Demarian's dead. The Grendel are attacking, and it's pissing it down with rain, and that is where we join again.
Oh yeah, so after Friday's night, incredibly cold. We get halfway through Saturday where, obviously, because of a cold night, meant we woke up with clear skies. So we had lots of sun, blue skies. There was the hope for a dry event, but not too hot event.
Yeah.
And then the cloud rolled in.
Oh, yeah.
So the clouds start rolling in on Saturday afternoon. Starts little bits of just small showers, nothing too severe. But it starts getting worse and worse throughout the day. But obviously, we go and visit our wonderful friend Goldie over in Dawn.
Yeah. No, he's not in
Dawn.
Dawn.
Not Dawn, in the league. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Goldie. I apologise.
Goldie,
can we cut that?
No.
We go and visit our wonderful friend
in
Goldie
Dawn.
in the league. The league? I can't believe you said he was from Dawn, Millie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he would
the
be
thing
so
is, you edit this, so you're going to make me look like the bastard, because I am the bastard.
I'm keeping this all in, baby.
Yeah, great. So we go to the league to see Goldie at the Golden Chalice.
Yeah. And little known fact, Agni is Goldie's hog roast proxy.
For his family hog roast for his family in the march.
Yeah, so it's which is a little detail that I love so much is just the fact that Goldie has relatives in the marches. Those relatives are really annoying, so Agni gets to go and eat hog roast in the marches every time she wants to. Basically, all she has to do is put on a comically fake beard, which I have. I just have never worn it, and I think I might bring it out at Anvil next summit.
I think you should, and then go see Sam, who is played by Josh, who's used to be a White Fox with John.
Yeah, and is now
he's now a marcher.
Yeah,
but he's also, I believe, Goldie's cousin from the marches.
Yeah. So I am the one who goes to the hog roast with him.
Yeah.
But we went to go see Goldie because it's sort of like a little tradition that we have where Goldie and Gaius and Agni go to a little play together, don't we?
Yeah.
Which is great. Like the theatres in the Empire.
Oh yeah.
So good. I love the Leaguish theatre.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I can't remember the name of the play we were due to see, but it was one which is has audience participation in regards to there's a point where they tell you all to take Goose Whisper during the play,
which is a great way of putting up prices of Goose Whisper, and anybody who doesn't have Goose Whisper on them has to buy it from the theatre.
Yeah.
For context, Goose Whisper is one of is it legal in Anvil?
It is, yes. It isn't a legal drug. It's not like any of the stuff like bites or anything like that.
Yeah.
It is one that is a legal drug to own, purchase, and take, I believe. Unless the militia have changed their mind.
Do you know what the RP effects of it are?
Yes, I do. I've taken it before.
Oh, nice.
It is... you start seeing sort of spirals and everything. You also get a vibrant dream normally as well, like a proper full-blown hallucination, which you get from you can actually go get from refs.
Oh, that would be so.
I think, or it might even be within the tear of the thing, but I don't know if it's a lucky dip to grab it out or not.
That would be so fun to do that in this play.
Apparently, you start seeing stuff like spirals all over the place around, like in the sky and that.
So we're talking to Goldie, waiting to go into the theatre. And I hear a commotion in the archery school, which is run by a friend of mine, Callum, who is really good up here. And to be honest, the fact that they have brought the archery range to Anvil is such a good idea. I haven't spoken about this enough because it's just so good. They have, firstly, it's a really good space to practice archery. Because for a really fun LARP mechanic that is archery, it's a very expensive one.
Yeah.
And having a space where you can try it out, you can practice, and you can see if it's for you for free OC not for free icy. It's
Yeah.
very expensive in character. But anyway, so I hear right next to the Golden Chalice this huge commotion of Benno de Cava.
I remember sitting in the tent of Golden Chalice and with Goldie and I believe their prince and going, I don't even need to stand up or turn around to know that's Benno de fucking Cava.
Yeah.
Just yelling at people.
Yeah, and basically what happened was there's a charity event at the archery range where you get to shoot arrows at the Crimson Reapers, which is the cartel that our friends Callum, Ellie, Billy, Lucky, Nick, all of our friends are in. Joe,
everyone.
Yeah, everyone is in there. It's a really good RP group, and if I was Leaguish, if there was an ounce of Leaguish blood in me, I would be there in a second if they'd have me. But I love being in the woods too much. I am a stabby murder monkey, whether or not that is part of the Navarre brief or not.
Navarre are not stabby murder monkeys, except for when they need to be.
Exactly. But I have no money on me, and I spent all of yesterday spending Gellet's money on booze. And I spent all of the morning being ill and you spending all your money getting me pizza to make me feel better. So none of us had any money.
I had money.
You bastard.
I had money. I was ready to give you money, but then you're like, oh, I've got herbs to sell.
That is true. So I had a fat stack of herbs, which now that we've got these new rules coming in, I'm going to turn into my online inventory at some point so that I can make potions.
Yeah, you can post them into PD to do that.
But yeah, so I got out a stack and I sold 2 thrones worth of herbs so that I could buy 2 thrones worth of arrows to try and shoot some of my best friends. And obviously, Callum and Billy are such good sports. You've got Ali and Ellie in the back. So Ali plays Lucky, Ellie plays Elle, and they're in the back. They're actually competent at dodging. I'm not saying that Callum and Billy aren't. I'm just saying that they weren't trying to dodge. And Ali is there. So Lucky is there. Fully masked up. They're all masked up in the league, and Crimson Reaper's masks are all skull motifs. So it's terrifying to stare down. They all do like a little OC check on me first to be like, are you okay if we berate you profusely for every single one that you miss? And I was like, yes, absolutely, it's fine, which was really nice because, again, check-ins are important. And so I start firing these arrows, and I bought 10. There was Gellet there as well. So I was like, Gellet, I've got 10 arrows. You get yourself next to me and we're going to take these guys down. I missed my first one, which goes down. The Reapers love it. They're berating me. They're saying, you call yourself an archer. You should stay in the trees, mate. And then I shoot my next arrow, which lands firmly in between Callum's legs.
Yeah. I think that's when I heard him yelling, you reap what you sow, several times over in a row.
I have been hit in the face with a LARP arrow, and it is not kind. I do not wish that.
I have been hit in the nuts by a LARP arrow. I know how that feels.
And Callum takes it like a champ, and he goes down, starts screaming bloody murder. Ellie and I are in stitches. They are having so much fun. And Kostya, who's played by Billy, who is kind of like the muscle of the Reapers, he starts yelling at Agni. And he's like, look what you've done to my beautiful boy. And at which case I go, oh yeah, and I'm about to do it to you too. And I hit him right in the chest. And he properly goes down, like flies back. And it was some of the most fun. I think it was my favourite memory of the whole weekend, is just Callum and Billy writhing around on the floor in pain. There's a physic trying to get in there to patch them up. the character who runs the archery range is kind of going, "Physic, if you're in there, you're fair game." And so then myself and Gellert, and then I gave an arrow to a different person who just really wanted to shoot at the Reapers, and I was like, absolutely, go nuts. So we then do more volleys in, more volleys of arrows in, and it was just so much fun. I think it kind of worked out really well because it meant that you had your chat with Goldie. We didn't get to go to the theatre in the end.
No, unfortunately, there was a Kikabeo auction going on in the theatre, which overran.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we had a very slim window between the Goose Whisper play and
another play.
Called Rock the Brock.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really hope some of you have seen the posters for either across Anvil or on the various Facebook pages advertising it prior.
Yeah, it was...
judging by the turnout, a lot of people saw those adverts.
Yeah. But so unfortunately we had to apologise to dear Goldie, but I'm glad that we got to see him though.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen, the guy who plays Goldie, is such a lovely guy.
Yeah. But it's sort of, so we missed the play with Goldie. A Kikabeo in the league is an actor sort of...
It's a weird one. It can be played many different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually...
Because I kind of...
You're paying for someone's company, basically.
Yeah.
But they'll be, in regards to, they'll give you advice on things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or
they can be like a ritual mage and like...
Yeah.
Which I really like how the League Brief does ritual magic through like theatre and theatrics and masks.
Oh yeah, dramaturgy is very, very fun.
It's a really cool mechanic, man. It's another reason why the League is calling my name.
The different masks that will give you different personas.
But yeah, so we missed that and we ran back to Navarre.
Yeah.
And this is when it was properly chilling it out. It was cold. The rain was getting the better of people, I think. And
I think at this point it was still broken showers, but it was enough to sort of start getting things damp and like ducking for shelter for a little bit, then getting out back in the dry, and then
I think the one thing that I had that was my saving grace over the whole weekend was the hand warmers, the little...
Oh, they were lovely.
Yeah, so I spent most of the trip from the League to Navarre handing out hand warmers to people that looked really cold and like moving them to fires and things.
Because there was that person you found at the Songs and Story Circle sort of sitting there shivering. And
it's kind of, I kind of want to do a standalone episode, I think, on kit prep for cold events, because a lot of people are so keen to concentrate on the in-character brief that they don't realise that out-of-character conditions are still a thing. Like it sounds obvious. You really have to take like costume material into account. And even though, you know, you're wearing a load of layers, if those layers are made out of thin polyester material or aren't made out of wool, or it's not waterproof or anything, you are getting cold. And it's something that I think I want to talk about or maybe write a post about later. Because I felt so... I mean, I think I was ill as well. So I am in no way out of... I'm not above anyone else. I learned from this weekend. Because my kit is nowhere near warm enough to be dealing with those kind of conditions. I ended up chucking
you one of my woolen tunics, didn't I?
Yeah. So I need to have a look at that. But it's like... It's hard. So we found someone who was brand new to Anvil, hadn't been solo LARPer. And so we kind of brought them over to the Ashbourne, and learning about them was actually really good fun. Like they had a really cool character. And so we warmed them up a bit and
got a fire going.
And we then took them to go and see the Rock the Brock play. Which a little known character who some of our listeners might have heard about before, Talus Ashbourne.
I think I've heard of him.
He's a
overdressed a lot of the time.
Yeah, the fanciest of all the Navarri. And he and Uncle Nietzsche of the Jolly Jackdaws, Tom from LARPs and Tarps, had commissioned a play.
Well, Talis had commissioned a play while drunk, and not when he had the money to be able to afford to commission a play.
Oh dear. But either way, there was a play about their adventures in Broceliande. So for anyone who is either new or didn't know, Broceliande is a part of Navarre, which was overrun by Valorn, or is it just where there was a Valorn heart?
There's a Valorn heart there. It is currently not held by the Empire. It is heavily infested with Valorn and Jotun.
Okay, and Valorn are kind of, I believe they're kind of like Ents, would you say?
The Valorn, it's Valorn husks and things like that. Basically, I think it's the closest thing to it would probably be the clickers in Last of Us. So the mushroom zombies. So basically, except for rather than being mushrooms, it's spring magic imbibed into them. But that's why they've got all plants and stuff growing on them. Why areas which are like Valorn hearts are heavily overgrown with spring magic and plants everywhere and weird plants. The animals start changing, including dead humans especially. Yeah. And basically it traps the soul within the husk.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So that is why Valorn is the biggest spiritual threat
to the Empire.
Is because their souls are stuck within the husk and can't be released until killed and executed, and then their soul can enter the labyrinth.
I had no idea about this. That's really fascinating. But yeah, so Navarre, a lot of last year, were sending military units into Broceliande to go and get to the Valorn heart.
Yeah.
And they did all sorts of research on it. They were killing husks. They were doing all of that stuff. Yep. And Uncle Nietzsche went with Talis as a sort of, because like the whole thing is that he didn't believe that the Valorn existed. Yeah. And that is where Talis gets his darling 18-inch iguana named Ifan. From
named after an original member of the Astor.
Exactly. And this was the play that was retelling their adventures, which was so good.
So incredibly well done.
Yeah.
And just the way they lambasted Talis, it was perfectly
so good. So it was commissioned by oh god, who was it commissioned by? I had it written down.
Commissioned by Talis.
Yeah, well, sorry, commissioned by Talis.
Written by Hugo Montserrat de Tessato of the Clattering Curtain of the Jolly Jackdaws.
Of the Jolly Jackdaws, yeah. So it was written by Hugo, performed by the Jolly Jackdaws, and some of the original cast couldn't make it to the actual event, which I think was an OC reason, so totally fine. So one of the cast members was literally given the script about 2 hours before the performance. Yeah. And that person was the person that was playing Talis. And it was so good. Like, this play was about half an hour, 45 minutes long, would you say?
Yeah, sort of 45 minutes, maybe even an hour long.
And it was so good.
Yeah, it was hilarious as well.
Yeah, because they had Uncle Nietzsche. They had Uncle Nietzsche's sort of friend or cousin, I think it was.
It's a little retinue with them. They had
Salt. Was the sort of and then you had Talis, obviously, and then you had someone playing Ifan, the 18-inch iguana. Yeah, and
meeping and beeping.
Oh my god, it was so good, and it was so funny. And they had bubbles. Talis and Nietzsche were there.
Yeah, Talis and Nietzsche basically standing in the wings watching the play.
Yeah,
and front center of the play is Ewan, played by the wonderful Justin.
Oh yeah.
And the person you want front row for a play that is slightly stitching up Navarre.
Yeah.
You want him there because I mean, Justin is an amazing guy, an amazing player. Every character he's played, he is like 110% behind that character.
Yeah.
But he has the ability. He could be the most powerful, most overbearing person somewhere.
Yeah.
But he knows not to be.
Yeah.
He knows exactly the time. His timing on things is brilliant.
Yeah.
He has no issue saying what is on his mind.
Yeah.
No, like whether it be standing, whether it be Thorn's Council, or whether it be a leaguish play.
Yeah.
But he knows not to take the piss of that.
Yeah.
Because obviously plays in the league are a very, very big Hearth magic thing.
Yeah.
So
It was. I loved it. Like seeing the difference and the juxtaposition of leaguish plays that are put on to leaguish audiences, where it's you are welcomed into a tent, you're given a refreshment, you're sat down, and you are very civilized. Move that leaguish theatre company into the market, where you're exposed to the elements. You have some of the fiercest warriors in Navarre sat on benches heckling you the entire time. It was so good. Yeah,
I think some of my favorite moments were purely coincidental timing moments as well. Like there's a point when they're talking about how they're describing the typical Navarre that's meeting them to guide them through being wearing nothing but browns with red and black face paint and covered in mud.
Yeah.
At that very moment, I can't remember his.
It was someone from
his
the Black
character's
Skull,
name.
wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the Black Skulls. Used to be band Shattersong. Can't remember his new IC name. Walks past and Justin just goes, "There he is."
Yeah, it was so funny.
And he was just like, "What have I done?"
Yeah, it was it was really good, and I loved it. Like, it was just perfect. The timing was so good. There was, and I really loved how the person who wrote it, Hugo Icy, had obviously, it was almost like he'd had a consultation session with a Navari, and had just assumed leaguish sort of motifs in the Navari traditions. So, for example, when assuming anything about Navari culture, if you have anything wrong about the Navari culture, they will give you tips about how to correct these things. And by tips, if you're a Navari, we mean tips of daggers, and we mean spear tips, weapon tips, anything. And that is how we correct errors in Navarre.
Yeah, or freezing brands.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with the leaguish personality, they're all about money and deals and things. So they had coins that they were chucking at. He
just paid him a tip, and when they said that moment, I was like, "Oh God, you've opened yourself up to have coins thrown at you."
Yeah.
And you're seeing Justin going straight for the coin purse, getting the rings out and ready to...
It was so good. And then they were talking about the trods, which contextually, the trods are sort of magical roads that run through Navarre, where you can walk through them quickly because they're imbued with magic, right?
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Lord Dump.
No. I need this because I know so little about
so
this.
with the trods, they give the ability to move between areas quicker than you would if you're walking on a regular road. Also, the reason Navarre walk the trods, and now also the Grey Pilgrims from Highguard also walking the trods, is doing that is actually damaging to the Valorn. We're basically taking away that spring power out of the Valorn hearts to weaken it.
Yeah. So they're very important for Navarre.
Yeah, which is why it's very devastating that everything got destroyed by the cold sun.
Yeah, so that's another thing as well. I heard so little about the cold sun, like side point.
Yeah, there was a few skirmishes to do with the cold sun.
Yeah.
I think because a lot of it was during downtime and stuff. It was mostly sort of cleaning up what we need to figure out. We obviously need to get Dance of Navarre and Fawn done in a load of regions. There's arguments against doing it because the cold sun just could come back in and smash it straight away. It's like, it was. Are we just gonna leave it down forever until they get rid of them?
Because I spoke to Farron about it. Was the fact that we actually knew there was a big thing at E4 last year. So going off on a tangent, dear listener, bear with. So the cold sun in E4 last year seemed unbeatable.
Yeah.
So, and then we thought there was a lot of miscommunication about what weakened them, what didn't weaken them. And Farron, who was part of the Black Scar, came into our camp after the play, so a bit later on. We'll get back to the play in a second, and said, I've been in a skirmish about the cold sun. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, how did you beat them? He's like, a mass weakness. And I was like, but I thought we tried that last summit. But yeah, so that happened. But anyway, so back to the play. They had the way that they were doing the trods and the walking on the trods with this character who is a Leaguish actor being overly dramatic, and the Great Dance, which in Navarre is kind of culturally, it's like the story of your life is the Great Dance, and it's like you have a place in the Great Dance. And that's
you follow your path in the Great Dance, and you find your place in it.
Yeah, so
that's what I do as a guide, is help people find their place in it.
Yeah, so yeah, like I want to see that play all over again. I want it on repeat in my head. And the way that it was done was just so good, because it was a caricature of Navarre culture through the eyes of a Leaguish playwright talking to a very ostentatious Navarre, and it was perfectly done. Like it was it was the best thing I've seen since going to Anvil, frankly. It was so good.
I also love the moment they referred to Tallis as a general.
Oh my god, yes. And
the cheers from the crowd at that.
and talked about retreating and things like that. It was so good.
Oh yes. What do we do now? We run away on our virtuous legs.
And it was
fuck.
Yeah. And it was so good. It's just so perfect. I'm going to say it until the cows come home. I want to watch it every single summit. It's just so fun. And it was a really perfect way. The rain held off as well.
Basically, the rain didn't start until after the play was finished.
Right. Perfect timing.
Perfect.
The play finished. We go back to the camp again. And we just sort of have a nice little chat. We start having dinner. I don't do that because I'm still feeling a little bit
you're still a bit peaky.
Yeah, so we do that.
I was at the camp for the rest of the evening with it was me, Gellert, and yourself, and then Kostya and another member of the Reapers turns up to keep an eye on Gellert. Because Gellert has an appointment that evening. For some reason, we're kept out of the loop on this. I see we have no idea what the hell's going on. This as much as far as we're going to get is basically the Reapers were at our camp, keeping an eye on Gellert. Kostya's sitting in our camp, and I just look at him and go, "You keep sitting there for too long. I'm going to tattoo your face."
Oh my god, it was so good.
And he's like, "Go on then." And I was like, "Well, then you're like, I'll do it." And what you did was beautiful.
It was so... I love it. It makes me so happy. It was so Billy's up for anything, which always is the reason why I think I love him so much. It's you have these really cool tattoo. I think they're Ian's. So Ian's got these really cool 2-sided eyeliner pens, which have on one side they've got a really good felt tip liner for all of you makeup gurus around, and then on the other side they've got a little stencil of either a star or a little flower. And I put a little group of flowers on Kostya's cheekbones, and then sort of made a little bouquet of flowers for...
it was beautiful.
I was really proud of it, actually, to be fair. So Kostya, the fearless Leaguish
Bravo
has now got a really beautiful bouquet of flowers from Agni on his face. And so we did that, and Gellert tries to get up and leave, and Kostya switches. And he's like, "Where are you going, Senator?" And he's like, "I'm not a senator anymore." He's like, "Where are you going, Gellert?" Kind of forces Gellert back into his chair, not like by just staring him down. And I was loving it, because I was kind of like, Gellert, run. I'll hold him back. Bearing in mind that I was incapable of doing anything other than sitting and looking pitiful. It's fine. I'm just feeling ill. So that was really fun. And I think we were just sitting and chatting, talking about Senate, and what comes up in conversation is what happens next for the great diplomatic duo that is Gellert Ashbourne and Agni, now of the Ashbourne. And we go, we're going to join the militia. which is a little plan that Dave and I have had for a while, where Agni and Gellet just become buddy cops. And I really like this plan. So we're going to see if we can try and join the militia next summit. I don't know how we do it, but I am kind of interested by it. So we're talking about that. And from the darkness, more Reapers arrive. We're in the form of Benno de fucking Carver. And L.
Benno, L. I think a few more of them as well behind that.
Yeah, there was also Braddock also turns up. I think he's just there for the Dread Shield's foos, to be fair. And Gellet gets taken away. And one, because I'm nosy, and two, because Gellet can't go anywhere without his scribe.
Oh yeah.
I then go, well, you can't kidnap him. I'm getting kidnapped too. So I kind of join on this little kidnapping escapade.
I mean, at this point, it is raining.
Oh yeah, it is properly tipping it down at this point.
Callum or Benno had already fallen over once in the Navari mud.
Yeah.
And basically, they all turn up. Then Benno and Elle just sit down, and I came like, yeah, they can go. Fuck it, we're staying here.
Yeah.
You guys all wander off. I think then Talis arrives back at camp, and we end up just chatting the night away. A little bit OC, a little bit IC here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, you return from
a little escapade. To be honest, I didn't see very much. We walked through Dawn. There was. We were going to a house in Dawn. Nobody knows where this house is. So Kostya goes off, going to try and find the house, while Gellet and I go to Wise Guys. Best bar in Dawn, in my opinion. If anybody wishes to buy Agni a drink in any other different bar to prove her wrong, go nuts. But a jammy bastard that Gellet Ashbourne is manages to get his captors to buy jelly shots for him. Yeah. So they buy him drinks, they buy him snacks. He's there, they're having shots, they're having a lovely old time. And then he gets carted off to do his thing. And Kostya very kindly walks me back to the Ashbourne camp, which is where I rejoin you guys. And we have a really nice evening.
Just around the fire singing songs.
Yeah, it was really nice. So Quill had a really funny song.
His smut song.
His smut song, which is really good. Did he go off to go and perform it at Daddy Darius's at all?
No, because I think Darius was actually there when we did your induction as well.
Yeah.
Because he came by just to come chat with us after before the fashion show, because he was in that as well.
Yeah.
And Darius is someone that goes way back with the Ashbourne. When we were first there, he found us all carrying around the Songs and Story fire, trying to get warm.
Oh.
And basically took us under his wing. And I mean, the stuff he has done for new players in the game has been amazing. Like, he took us under our wing, looked after us, basically. And, well, Keys is still alive because of Darius's actions.
Yeah.
And the same probably goes for Talis and, well, Ifan at the time survived many a scrape that he probably shouldn't have, courtesy of Darius, because at the time Darius had an oath, I believe, of basically getting people new to Anvil out onto the field and bringing them back.
Yeah. And I really enjoy just spending time. Like, I will often try and find him on the battlefield and just hang out.
Oh yeah. He is such a great guy and a very, very funny guy.
Yeah.
At the same time, so it's a great person to hang out with. But while he was there early in that day, we got Quill to play that song to him, and we're like, fancy that for Smart Night. So hopefully one of the interludes in the future, during one of the readings, Quill will be performing that song.
It's very funny. Yeah, so we have that little sing song.
Yeah.
We're like, I certainly went to bed because I was still not feeling great.
Again, I was just generally exhausted, courtesy of my wonderful human body thinking that anywhere around about sort of 6-7 o'clock is the perfect time to wake up in the morning. It's not great when you're going to bed really late at night.
Yeah. So we're all the old fogies of the empire.
Yeah, basically.
And we go to bed and wake up to the torrential downpour.
Oh, absolutely tipping it down.
It was awful.
Yeah, I woke up again about 6:30, 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it is just absolutely tipping it down. And it's that usual, after a night of drinking, you have to answer nature's call in that morning.
Yeah.
And start lying in bed going, I don't want to go out there yet. I really don't want to go out there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the weird thing with when you're camping, especially under canvas, rain always sounds worse than it is.
Yeah.
While you're in there.
Yeah.
So I eventually sort of got the wherewithal to chuck my boots on, step out of our tent, and get under the awning at least. And my God, the devastation. There were small, streams running. Basically, there was one that ran all the way from behind the Dreadshields camp up through our camp, under our awning, and ending just outside Dave and Ian's tent.
Yeah.
The Dreadshields awning had collapsed overnight. A load of things that had been left half under our awning and things like that were absolutely soaked through.
Yep.
So I think there were a few people who probably had the horrors of a tent flood.
Yeah, there were quite a lot of people, like a lot of people in the OC camping area.
Yeah.
I know they had a load of problem with getting rained on. I think I'm trying to get the numbers up here because I'm a nerd. I think we had something silly like it was something like 8 mil of rainfall in a morning. When you see 8 milliliters, doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's on ground that doesn't have time to absorb that water, it just sits on top. And all of the roads in Anvil are wood chip, which meant that it was all floating on the top, and it was hiding puddles. So you had people sort of walking through.
Some of which were very deep, some were knee deep.
Yeah, so right at the bottom of Navarre, there's a sort of main strip, the main road. That was a river going into a lake.
The Senate Pond.
Yeah, the Senate Pond.
Senate Pond made a reappearance. I was getting PTSD flashbacks to E1 2018. I mean, thankfully this was on the Sunday. When that properly came down, that was over Friday night. So Saturday and Sunday was just absolute hell for that one. This was just the Sunday morning, but it was the walk from our camp at the back and inner market to walk through to say like the Songs and Stories circle.
You couldn't do it.
No, it was absolutely horrid. It was
I
mean, it was not like it was probably about ankle deep of just wet clay mud.
And again, this is why I kind of want to do a episode about like proper camping kit or something, but it's like for people, my boots are more like, they are really good boots. They are dominantly waterproof. They're leather boots, so they're great. But I haven't treated them in a while, and I realised I hadn't treated them when I walked into a puddle and my whole sock got wet. Yeah,
I mean, I use hiking boots.
Yeah.
I know they're not icy. They say a kit is aspirational. Ideally, have icy shoes, but I mean, I have problems with my knees. I have problems with my ankles as well. Mainly from being a large, rotund guy, putting a lot of weight in those joints.
Yeah.
Having something like hiking boots, especially in those conditions, are required basically. I know Oily found that his boots weren't waterproof.
Yeah.
And I had a spare pair of boots, so I'd end up just chucking in my old army boots.
Yeah. And it's like you don't realise that a lot of your kit isn't waterproof until you need it to be waterproof.
Yeah.
And it was before time in, so obviously you had a load of people that were waking up in OC mode, and I was hearing rumours. I didn't go down to Dawn or Wintermark because I just didn't want to. I still wasn't feeling great, but we heard rumours that most of Wintermark had woken up and been flooded, so they were mostly leaving site, and there were stories of like people's tents getting flooded. icy areas, like you said, all of the tarps, most of the tarps in Navarre had like collapsed in on themselves.
Yeah.
Which meant that you had tarps that were no longer covering kit, so that was all getting rained on. And because it's on the Sunday as well, you don't have time for stuff to dry out if the weather improves.
No.
So understandably so, a load of people were waking up and being absolutely miserable because all of their kit was just either ruined or wet or muddy.
Yeah.
So totally understandable that when time for muster comes around, and like credit to the PD like crew, they got a message out onto the Facebook to tell everybody what was going on. They said that cars will not be allowed onto site, which I think, whilst inconvenient, was the right decision. Because no car was ever going to get like 4x4s. The tractors that were there were struggling.
And do you think that was just on the OC parking areas?
Yeah.
Now you imagine those people stuck on the actual in-game fields, or like on those wood chip roads with the hidden deep ass puddles.
Yeah.
You're done for.
Yeah, it was horrible. And I understand, like, we are very lucky and very fortunate that our Navarre camping spot is very close to the OC area.
Yeah, we're close to the OC area, and we have the benefit of being up the hill, and also within the woods, which means we don't get affected so much by the wind.
Yeah.
The issue with the woods is obviously we've got a huge root network. As well, which, I mean, woodlands will hold water longer than a field will.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that direct sunlight burning it off.
Yeah.
But we've got that benefit of we don't get, like, when we've had horribly windy events.
Yeah, we get a lot of shelter and the shade as well.
We get the shelter from it, and the shade from horribly sunny events.
Yeah. But yeah, so credit for PD for getting the message out about no cars. But then also credit for them for wrangling. Like we'll talk about it later after the battle, but they said that that muster was happening as usual.
Yeah.
So monstering was going to be open from 9:30, and then the Sentinel gate would open as usual 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was still going on, which I heard a lot of umming and ahhing about whether or not that was the right decision health and safety wise to make, but obviously, it's an event.
Yeah, I think
to keep it.
And they had refs out there checking the field before.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I mean, I've fought in the wet before. I've fought in rain before. And to be honest, immersion-wise, it's very atmospheric fighting in a wet rain.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you are going for it, hell for leather.
Yeah.
As people are falling, they're splashing, as there's running. It is like a massive fantasy movie.
Yeah.
I mean, well and good fighting out in this hot sun, but the issue with that is you overheat.
Yeah.
You get really, really hot, sweaty, and tired really quickly fighting in the hot weather. Fighting in the rain, you get quite knackered as everything's getting wet as you're doing it, but
it's quite good. Like I think that was because I woke up and I was feeling better. I still wasn't feeling 100%. I was very much humming and ahhing about whether or not I'd go or I'd just pack up my stuff and go home. And I heard, do you know what it was? It was Chloe from the Dreadshields from LARPs and Tarps asking to use one of my hand warmers to put in her boots. And that was the little thing of, fuck, if people are going, I'm going too.
Yeah, because Alex, also from LARPs and Tarps, plays Otis. Yeah. He was planning on going. Other ones, also on the Saturday, I did a couple of testimonies.
Oh.
One of which was on him, and we did the one on Dave, a throne maker.
Oh yeah. Oh god, there was a lot of imprinting on people's souls, wasn't there?
Yeah, did that one, and then did Succulent Snag on Alex.
Oh, that's so good.
But yeah, he was going out as well.
Yeah.
But he, again, like a lot of Navarre, we wear a lot of linens and cottons.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of Berg Schneider's wool tunics.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, middle-aged drift has not played too well with my LARP kit. So I think I chucked the brown one at you, chucked the green one over to him.
Yeah.
And just meant there was something warm they could chuck on, like you could both chuck on while you're taken to that field, and also with it being wool, it's got a certain amount of water resistance
I was
to it.
so warm in that tunic.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because obviously Navarre was fighting with Wintermark, with the Brass Coast, with Varushka, and I think that was it. Right? Yeah, because everybody else had gone.
I don't know.
Yeah. But either way, so we were fighting very reduced numbers because obviously there were fewer nations than had fought on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But also very few numbers because of all the OC stuff that was going on. As we were walking up to because we have our little muster. We had the Hammer giving us our pep talk, who is such a good battlefield commander. Like, I am so jealous of their ability to command a military unit such as Navarre.
Oh, hell yeah. They are an amazing person.
Yeah.
And they deserve the title of Navarre's Hammer.
Absolutely, like hands down. It's such a good logical thinker and such a good commander of people and organizer of people, and a really good RPer and orator. So like can speak their words really good. But anyway, enough singing of praising of people. I go out normally. I am part of the diplomatic duo.
Yeah.
Dave
still in bed.
Does not emerge from his tent in the morning because of all the shenanigans from last night. So poor Agni was left adrift with her snacket packet, and along comes Murdoch and the Dreadshields, and they swoop her up under their wing, and I go out with the Dreadshields. Bearing in mind that I was not feeling great, so I don't have any armor, which I really want to fix for E2. I need some armor, and I don't have a weapon because they're all still in my car, which not really very fitting for the Navarre brief of always being armed to the teeth, but we'll live, we'll stand. You very kindly lend me a dagger, and I go off to the field. There are so few of us, but the one thing that does make me kind of swell with pride a bit was that Navarre was, I think, either the largest or a very close largest for people going out there. Whether or not that makes us idiots for reckless abandon of health and safety concerns. Doesn't really matter.
For the Empire.
Exactly. So we turn up at the gate first, and Navarre goes through the gate first, and the Dreadshields are going through first out of all of Navarre. And I've never had this before because I've always been at the back lines. I did not realise that the egregores for all of the nations gathered do like pep talks.
Yeah, and they do the ritual to open the gate.
I had no idea. I'd never seen this before. So I was really happy about the reduced numbers because it meant that I got to see a part of the game that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
All of the egregores were having their little chats and having these really good things. A little bit of me, OC, was feeling really bad because a lot of the players don't listen to it. And like, obviously, I had done that before. I had no idea that this even happened.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I was like, oh my God, this is fascinating. So we had the Wintermark egregores were first, then Varushka, then the Brass Coast, and Navarre were last out of all the egregores to speak. And I was fascinated. I was like having the time of my life listening to them. It was great.
Yeah, was it both of them, both Dadrigor and Bugregor?
Yeah. And they're
both such wonderful people.
Yeah, I remember the Dadrigor from my first player meeting. Yeah. So on the Friday just before time in, you have like players first time meeting chats, and he was the person that did mine along with Claire. Credit to the egregores, man. They are so good, and they know their nations inside and out.
Oh yeah. There's a reason they're in that position. Like I've had done a little stuff with Bugregor, I see, but most of my stuff's been done with Dadrigor, as he's affectionately known.
Yeah.
Al, and I've met him OC as well, and he's just such a lovely wonderful person. I mean, don't get on the wrong side of him, I see.
Yeah.
As I've seen him nearly kill many a Dornish person who's run through the Songs and Story Circle during a thing. And that was the first time I saw someone get the freezing brand.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. But I was really enjoying that. And then I realised that I had no idea why we were going to battle. And I had no idea what we were doing. And I looked over at Murdoch and I was like, Physic? And because obviously Murdoch's a Physic along with Agni. And he was like, Physic. And so we Murdoch had a shield, so he was frontline Physic. I was very much backline Physic, which was kind of difficult with our reduced numbers, but we'll get into that in a bit. And I think our whole point of the battle was we had to storm a fort and we had to reclaim a Reggio. We were with Urizen. I forgot about Urizen. Sorry, Urizen.
Ooh.
Love you. Sorry. So I think we were with Urizen. I don't know. I saw Aulus, or at least the person who plays Aulus. I'm not sure if he still is Aulus.
Yeah, I think I saw Lanius in kit. I can't remember if he was in his monster. No, I think Lanius might have been in his monstering kit.
Okay,
so I think
maybe not then. But either way, I did forget about Urizen. Talking about the nation, sorry. And so we had all this stuff going on. There was a lot of miscommunications. I even heard the Hammer at some point being like, I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think because of the wind and the rain, there was a lot of miscommunication on the field because radios weren't working because they'd all got waterlogged and like all of this stuff. And just all of the stuff. Credit to the skirmish crew though, because obviously there were very few players who turned up for monstering. Completely understandable. I heard stories about players getting turned away at the monstering sign-in for being too late. Which, you know, it's a double-edged blade, because if you turn up late, you miss the brief, you miss very vital health and safety information, but then you also don't get those additional numbers on the day when you might need more people. So credit to the players who turned up to monster, and credit to the skirmish crew for monstering and throwing their heart and soul and their bodies into that mud.
The work the skirmish crew does is something else. You think they spend pretty much their entire event either fighting or doing various other things, like all the stuff beyond the Sentinel Gate is pretty much going to be done by the skirmish crew and the handful of NPCs.
Yeah.
Especially if you love to do the sort of the battles and stuff, brilliant. If you're like, I'll go do skirmish crew, how hard could it be?
Yeah.
I don't think people realise how hard those guys work.
No.
Considering you think you go out one skirmish, you're going, all right, you guys are going out as Vlorn on this one, brilliant. Cool, thanks for doing that. There you're back. Right, we need you now dressed up as Druge.
Yeah.
Right, completely change kit, orc masks on, blah blah blah. Back out.
Yeah.
Come back. Brilliant. Thanks for doing that. Cold sun. And it's just like, I have nothing but awe and respect for the skirmish crew. I've met a few of them. And they're all the ones I've met, and they're always the commanders as well of the regular units.
Yeah.
So like when you go through the Nation's Monster, that commander you get given is a member of the skirmish crew.
Yeah.
And they're all
really
amazing
good.
And out there to not only make sure everything's safe, but make sure it's fun, enjoyable, for not just for yourself, but especially if you're monstering, to make it enjoyable and believable for the Imperials you're fighting against. Because that's the last thing you want, is someone who's not taking it seriously and just being a bit of a dick.
Yeah. But I mean... like with their reduced numbers, I was talking to a couple of people before, they were respawning about 5 or 6 times. So credit to all those guys, because they were going down in the mud and in the puddle that was the battlefield.
Oh yeah.
But we took the Reggio. I think there were multiple Reggio sites. One was a weekday Reggio, and the other one was the proper Reggio that we needed. Lots of fighting, little skirmishes going on, nothing major. Because of the numbers, we basically railroaded them. We just steamrolled right through. Came back within the hour. We were back pretty quickly.
It was a very quick one.
Yeah, and I think that was basically the event for a lot of people.
I think the only thing I really did I had one major thing to do on Sunday, and that was swapping out my resource.
Yeah.
Because I think I mentioned it in the pre-lap, that was my plan to do, because of how being an abstain means sometimes it might fuck up someone getting a greater majority on something.
Yeah.
Because me not turning up to Synod to do any voting costs as an abstain, and therefore counts against greater majority.
Yeah.
So I'm back to an MU. The boys are back to fighting again. So we'll see where I'm gonna send them this year. I'm not 100% sure.
I think I'm going to Miarin.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, because I think Ian's off to do the spy thing, and I think they've got enough on that number possibly.
Yeah.
But I can neither confirm nor deny anything in regards to numbers.
Yeah, I think I need to do a bit of thing, because I know Leafy this summit was trying to get an appraisal through, because we finished our Great Library is finished now.
Yep. Great Library's done.
So that's all built. So appraisals are things that you can put through in Senate. They get one appraisal slot.
It might only be the one. If it's not many.
Yeah. So it's. I think they get one appraisal slot, one build slot. Or
it might be more than. I think it might be a couple of build slots, possibly.
Well, I need to go through, but either way, so I think
it's not a game anymore.
No, I know, it's great, right? So I think Leafy was getting his appraisal done, and I think he managed to get it through, but I need to check because obviously we don't go to Senate anymore, which is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot going on Sunday, but not for us.
Yeah.
So. And I think that was good because I was still.
You were still pretty rough.
I was still pretty rough. I was recovering. We slowly packed up.
Yeah.
And some people packed up very slowly because.
I my energy was just completely sapped by the
rain and the cold, right?
Sunday, yeah. I ended up basically PD said it was okay for people to either stay on site or if you lived locally to leave your tent on site and come get it the following day. And I live an hour and a half from site, as I mentioned earlier. So I was like, you know what, I'm just
come
gonna
back and get it.
Just come back and get it. I'm just building up the strength to walk back to my car and wait because of the mud and everything.
Yeah,
it was taking people so long to get off site. Normally, when I've packed down in the past, I still leave it quite late, basically because, and again, I live reasonably locally, whereas there's people I know who drive 4 or 5 plus hours on the day of the event, and I can happily leave site at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night and be home by 7:30.
Yeah,
it was like, you know what, I'll just wait it out, see how it goes, and eventually start slowly putting piece by piece of my kit away into its bag, blah blah blah, and it reaches a point of the day where it's just like, you know what, I'm just chucking all my stuff inside my tent, doing it up, going to my car and driving home.
Yeah.
Because I was just so beyond just not wanting to do anything. I know Oily Daisy and I can't remember the other person they drove down with, played the Dornish Lash. She was at
Nightmare, yeah.
Nightmare with us as well.
Yeah.
So I do apologise for not remembering her name. I'm so bad with these. But they had done several runs to and from their car.
Yeah, there was a lot of people carrying stuff. Like,
yeah.
And again, like I said earlier, like Navarre are lucky in the fact that our tents are close. I know that.
Yes. Oh, they were going all the way down to the Longstay car park where their car was. They hadn't moved their car up.
Yeah.
And hilarious. On my walk up, I had my shoes, a bag. I was carrying Oily Spear, and as I'm walking up, and they get to their car, I'm like, well, what are the chances of this? Their car was parked right next to mine.
Amazing. That's so good.
So,
but yeah, I know that there was again, credit to the Red Hats and the traffic team for and also players, because so basically the short stay car park, which is the day players car park, that was clay field. So overnight the rain had fallen so much that the cars were basically sinking. And so they had to empty that out. They got tractors in to tow the cars out, and then they parked them alongside the road. That then meant that the road was a single lane traffic, which isn't good on the best days. But when you've got people coming in to pick people up, people trying to leave to go home, it is not an easy job. So I did not envy anyone trying to do traffic management on that day, but they did their best.
Amazingly managed.
Yeah.
Basically, they were having to keep traffic flow to a certain sort of level because as people coming off site, they didn't want to, basically, they could get done legally if they cause a blockage on the main road of people coming out as well. So they were slowly filtering people out. I mean, I got to my car about 7 o'clock, and it took me about 20-30 minutes to actually get off site.
Yeah.
Just driving off site, and that's purely because they're trying to keep things moving, but you can't cause a blockage on a public highway.
Road. Yeah, it was good. I managed to, again, because I hadn't unloaded my car fully, I managed to get in and out relatively quickly. And I didn't get stuck. I heard horror stories of cars that did.
Oh yeah, a load of cars stuck. I think this probably been one of the busiest weekends for the tractors, and I mean, also hats off to all the players who were just wandering around and saw someone's car was stuck and helped them out.
Yeah,
basically, because I mean, I have the luck of basically I've got experience of driving in sort of wet, muddy, slippery conditions.
Yeah.
I know that's a very rare thing to have the opportunity to do. So when you first encounter it, it's when your wheels just start spinning on the spot. It's a very worrying thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, having the tractors available, I mean, there's only a handful of them, so people were having to wait a little bit of time to get rescued by them.
Yeah,
but
it was
doing
good.
the best they could, and I think at one point they were doing the tractors were just doing patrols.
Yeah, and I mean,
basically finding someone stuck and pulling them out and getting them free.
Yeah, and nothing brings the LARPing community together like a mudpocalypse.
Oh yeah,
but it was interesting looking at how, because obviously, like I said earlier, the rainfall that we had was so heavy and so quick that the ground couldn't absorb it long enough, which is where the puddles were coming from. But then by the evening, a lot of the puddles had sort of absorbed, because I know James from the Fancy Nuts podcast had, and he and Sophie had stayed another night on site.
Yeah.
He has a very good TikTok page, and he was sort of showing the comparison of the LARP sites over the course of the day.
Yeah.
Also, credit to the memers of the Empire, because the Empire memes for all of the weather and the TikToks have been so good, making fun of the mud.
I did like the, I think it was a picture of taking one of the wood chip ponds near the marches where there's just a pair of boots sticking out.
Yeah, so good.
I did also see a Navari guy sitting next to the Senate pond with a fishing rod, just sitting there waiting for something to come.
Yeah, it's just like we make the best of a bad situation, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that there was game on Sunday. It just wasn't for us for various reasons. But it was. I actually had a really nice time this weekend, despite being ill, despite not really sleeping, despite turning up late. I still did a lot. And I cannot wait for E2. I think it's
6
weeks.
Good.
I'll just have started again. I won't be able to turn up on the Thursday or on the Friday on time. Well, I'll have started a new
these things
job.
Happen. Well, if you want to do the same again, and we'll pack you into my tent.
Yeah, I think I might have to.
That way.
LARPers of the Bristol community, let me know, because I'm about to move out your way for a few months. What were your favourite moments from this summit, Bung?
I'd say there was that. I think Friday was that sort of weird thing. It was like, are we going to be still doing Senate stuff for the rest of the weekend? There was that moment that Dave said he was going to stand out down at the vote. There was like that feeling of sort of, oh, what do I do now? But also like, oh my God, I don't have to rush around or do anything for the rest of the weekend. I think we all had that sort of feeling where it's just like, oh, we can relax. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the new senator performs.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to do an amazing job. One of the things I did get, do you remember when we first became the diplomatic team?
Yeah.
We got those booklets written by I think Lizabetta's house.
Yeah.
About motions in Senate.
Oh, yeah.
I got Talis to basically, because he was going over to Waystone Path anyway.
Yeah.
Got him to drop off my copy of that.
Oh, that's
saying,
good.
We got these when we first entered the Senate game. I'm sure Trafford's already taught you everything you need to know, but this is a gift from the Ashbourne contingent.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I'm
passing on the torch.
I'm really excited, and I think that character will bring a really much needed balance to the environment that is Senate. So I think it's going to be good, and I'm so excited to see what they do.
I'm hoping it's going to be basically a second Trafford inside of Senate, which means shit's going to get done.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really refreshing. Like, not to say like I loved being in the Senate game, and I loved being as chaotic and as diplomatic as we were.
Yeah.
But I am so excited to see how to join the militia and see what.
I look forward to hearing about it.
I know. Well, we'll see what happens. If anybody knows how to get a LARP safe and magnifying glass commissioned, which I think I really want to do. I think I'm really excited.
I just want to know how many times Gellett's going to be like, and just one more thing while smoking cigars as well.
It's going to be good, man. I think I think my favourite bit of the weekend is definitely the play, getting sworn in as the Ashbourne. I'm looking forward to next event, I think, with the unburdening and it being, is it Spring Summit next?
Spring Summit. So that's obviously Noir's big big season.
Yeah.
When we have our wonderful festivals and things, and the unburdening, which is traditionally when Navarre will let go of oaths, which they're no longer suitable for them.
Yeah.
I think
it's going to be good. I'm excited to see what this year holds. Oh, we didn't talk about the coronation or the coronation procession.
Oh no, no. I think you had woken up around the sort of time.
It was
after
just before.
I heard them. They basically performed a song for the new throne.
Yeah.
As they came into Navarre, which I heard back from our camp. And then I think you went along and watched the procession come through.
Yeah, like it was really interesting. Looking at that was the only glimpse I saw of the Empress the entire summit. I didn't, and it was as they were moving away from Navarre.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm intrigued to see. I'm intrigued to see how Anvil runs with an Empress. Because obviously I haven't seen it before, and
because you came after.
Yeah.
Lisbeth had carked it.
Yeah.
Or disappeared off into the night realm after doing too much True Liao in one setting.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what this year holds. I'm excited for better weather. I'm going to do some research between now and then about warmer kit. And getting some armor sorted. There's a lot to think about now that we've had E1, and I'm very excited.
Oh, definitely. And well, you're welcome to borrow my chain if you need armor.
Hell yeah!
Oh, should I roll that dice again? A 3.
A 3. Oh no! Oh no! It's our turn to struggle with the surname. Thank you so much, Mark. Kugelgen. Indeed.
Right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much.
You have been supporting us since January 2021, so thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah, this is great. The Patreon thing. I'm going to start rolling out a load of Patreon stuff and actually updating our page and making it look better.
Nice. You're much more organised than I am. But let me know when you need the topless photos to go on there of me.
Oh yeah,
for the highest tier.
Oh yeah, the LARP nudes. The LARP nudes.
Yep. Only flans.
Yeah, the wet sock content that we all need. I think there's only one thing left to say, Bung.
Strength of the Empire.
Strength to Navarre.